Every single night you drive, an invisible killer is sitting frozen on the inside of your windshield. You cannot see it under normal daylight, no matter how clean the glass looks from the driveway, but the moment headlights come at you in the dark, that film blinds you instantly across the whole road. It spreads every single oncoming beam into a massive halo the size of your entire car hood. Windex will not touch it, paper towels will not touch it, nothing on the store shelf dissolves it, dealers will not tell you about it, mechanics will not mention it at the counter. Anywhere auto glass shops across America pray every day that you never learn the name of what it actually is. For over 30 years, American drivers have been crawling through the dark, blaming their own eyes for the glare. It is not your eyes, it is not your age, it is not your headlights finally going out. It is a chemical film chemically bonded to the inside of your windshield, thicker than you could ever imagine, and one single dollar, pulled straight from your kitchen cabinet, erases it forever in exactly 3 minutes. They did not hide this fix because it failed somewhere along the way. They hid it because it worked far too well for any of them to profit from a solution that costs pennies, cannot be sold at a dealership counter, or stocked on a retail shelf, and anything that cannot be sold cannot ever be advertised on a billboard or a television commercial. This is the story of the $1 liquid that ends night blindness behind the wheel forever. Welcome to Forbidden Campion. If these stories matter to you, subscribe and hit the bell. This is where we dig up what the industry buried in silence for decades. In 1973, a chemist working at General Motors noticed something strange on test cars parked under the Arizona sun. After only 2 weeks of full desert heat, the inside of every windshield had developed a greasy, invisible haze. He wiped it down with ammonia cleaner. It smeared across the glass and came back within days again. He scraped the residue into a lab dish and ran the sample under a spectrometer analyzer. It was not dust. It was not cigarette smoke. It was not fingerprints or ordinary skin oil from the driver. It was plasticizer, the same chemical oil that keeps every dashboard soft, flexible, and free from cracks. For decades, the dashboard was literally sweating itself, drop by microscopic drop, straight up onto the glass above it. The industry has an official name for this silent phenomenon. They quietly call it out. When a closed car bakes in direct sunlight, the cabin temperature climbs past 110 Fahrenheit within minutes. The polyvinyl chloride inside your dashboard begins releasing oily vapor at the molecular level. Under that heat, that vapor rises upward because pure heat pushes it straight toward the roof of the cabin, and the coldest surface in the entire sealed cabin is always, without exception, the windshield glass. The vapor hits that cold glass, cools instantly, and bonds to it like candle wax, dripping onto a cold window. The bond it forms is not loose dirt. It is a chemical marriage as tight as glue, hardening on stone. Every hot day, another microscopic layer is added to the growing buildup. Week after week, summer after summer, the layers stack silently one on top of the next, building a translucent coating you will never notice in broad daylight. By year 3, the film is thick enough that oncoming headlights scatter across it like fog on a backcountry highway. By year 5, the inside of your windshield is a full grease trap, and you do not even know it sits there. General Motors filed that original research deep inside their archive and quietly buried the final report, because admitting it publicly meant admitting every modern dashboard is a slow-leaking chemical factory. And nobody inside Detroit wanted to face that lawsuit in open court. This video is only the very first vault I'm opening up for you tonight. I have pulled together every single thing the auto and outdoor industries pray. You will never discover. Every piece of it lives inside the complete Forbidden Camping vault. Fire techniques the Army classified right after World War II that still outperform $2,000 heaters in the snow. Water filters built from simple gravel, sand, and charcoal that beat every $200 camping bottle on the market. Shelter methods used by soldiers in the Korean winter that cost nothing, and sleep to grown men at 40 below zero. Food preservation tricks straight from the Dust Bowl that kept real meat edible for 18 months without a single volt of power. Natural repellents from deep Amazon tribes that wipe out mosquitoes better than any spray on a pharmacy shelf today. Car tricks exactly like this windshield fix that dealers and auto glass shops pray every driver never learns. More than 10 complete guides, zero filler, zero fluff. Every single method tested by real people in the real world. The link is waiting in the description right below this video. One single click and the entire vault opens for you tonight. This is not a subscription. This is not a trial. It is a one-time unlock of everything they tried to erase. But stay right here with me, because what comes next is even worse than outgassing itself. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration recorded something genuinely terrifying in their 2019 annual report. 50% of all fatal highway crashes happen after dark, even though only 1/4 of driving actually happens at night. Read that line again slowly. Half of all American highway deaths during just 1/4 of total driving time. The National Safety Council put it even more bluntly in their own separate annual study. Your personal risk of dying in a motor vehicle crash is 3 times higher the moment the sun finally goes down. And sitting right at the top of their official list of causes is glare from oncoming headlights at night. Glare does not just annoy your tired eyes on a country road. It actively steals your reaction time away from you. 1 full second of blindness at 60 miles per hour equals 88 feet of open road traveled completely blind. 2 full seconds of blindness equals 176 feet. That is half a football field driven totally blind, and here is the absolute cruelest detail buried in all of that government data. After the age of 50, the human retina permanently loses the ability to recover from bright flashes of light quickly. Ophthalmologists call it delayed dark adaptation, and it gets worse every single decade after you cross that line. A driver in their 60s takes nearly twice as long to refocus after a headlight flash as a driver in their 20s. A driver in their 70s can stay functionally blind for up to 4 full seconds after a single oncoming bright beam. Add a thick greasy chemical film directly on top of that aging retina, and every oncoming car becomes a live flash grenade. The film does not just let the glare through. It captures the light, bends it, and sprays it across your whole field of vision. This is not cosmetic. This is not about a pretty dashboard. This is raw survival behind the wheel every single night. Every statistic above is already baked into the insurance tables. The industry knows. The engineers know. The dealers know. The only person in the entire chain who is never told the truth is the driver actually gripping the wheel. If you have made it this far into the video, you already know more about night driving than 99% of American motorists. Subscribe right now and share this video with anyone who drives after dark with someone they love in the passenger seat. And remember this: everything the industry buried is waiting for you inside the complete forbidden camping vault tonight. Fire techniques, water filters, shelter plans, preservation tricks, auto secrets. Every single vault guide, one click away. The link is sitting in the description below. Now stay with me, because the reason this fix was hidden is uglier than the film itself. The American auto glass industry is worth over $20 billion every single year. According to public filings, Safelite alone pulls in more than $2 billion in annual revenue, replacing windshields across every single state in the country. A single windshield replacement runs between $300 and $700 straight out of your pocket, and thousands of drivers every single week pay for expensive replacements they never actually needed in the first place, because they thought the glass was scratched, or etched, or permanently clouded, or simply worn out with old age. It was none of those things. It was a film that a $2 kitchen spray bottle would have removed in exactly 3 minutes flat. Now think carefully about the glass cleaner aisle at any big box store in America. Invisible Glass, Stoner brand, Sprayway. Every single bottle on that shelf costs between $8 and $15 a piece, and every single one of them is based on ammonia or cheap alcohol cut with artificial perfume for that clean smell. None of them are formulated to actually dissolve plasticizer residue, because plasticizer residue officially is not even supposed to exist. The chemical industry cannot admit outgassing publicly, because the moment they do, every single dashboard becomes a federal recall. So they sell you a cleaner that treats the visible symptom badly and never once names the real underlying cause. The entire economic model of that $20 billion industry depends on you believing the problem is simple. Dirt is extremely profitable. Dirt requires a new bottle every month. Dirt needs a detailing appointment every single season. A $1 kitchen mixture that solves the problem permanently cannot be patented by any corporation on earth. It cannot be trademarked. It cannot be shelved at Walmart. It cannot generate recurring monthly revenue for anyone, and anything that cannot generate recurring revenue is treated by the entire industry as if it simply does not exist at all. Professional detailers in Florida, Arizona, and Texas have quietly used this exact recipe for over 40 years in their own garages. Ask any senior detailer working in the Phoenix heat what he actually keeps in his personal spray bottle for interior glass. He will tell you it is not what he sells to the customer standing at the front counter. Now let me show you exactly how to do this yourself. Tonight, before you drive home in the dark, step 1. Park your car in full deep shade. The glass must be completely cool to the touch, never warm from sunlight. Warm glass will evaporate the solution before it has any time to dissolve the chemical film. Step 2. Cover your entire dashboard with an old bath towel, and this catches every single drop that might fall. Step 3. Grab a clean microfiber cloth and wipe the windshield completely dry first, with absolutely no liquid at all. This removes loose dust and grit. If you skip this step, you will drag tiny particles across the glass and scratch it. Step 4. Mix your cleaning solution in any empty spray bottle you can find at the dollar store. Half white vinegar, half distilled water, 1 single drop of dish soap, just enough to break the surface tension. If the film on your glass is heavy, switch to 70% rubbing alcohol with 30% distilled water instead. For the absolute worst cases, combine both recipes, half alcohol, half water, 1 capful of white vinegar poured on top. This is the exact recipe professional detailers in Arizona have used quietly for 4 full decades inside their shops. Step 5. Spray the solution onto the cloth itself, never directly onto the glass surface. Direct spray will drip down into your defroster vents and eventually into the sensitive electronics behind the dashboard. Step 6. Wipe the driver's side in clean horizontal strokes, working left to right, top to bottom, across the whole pane. Wipe the passenger side in vertical strokes instead, top to bottom, moving side to side across the whole pane. If any streaks appear later under sunlight, you will know instantly which side of the glass caused the problem. Step 7. Follow immediately with a second clean dry microfiber cloth and buff the glass until it actually squeaks. Never ever use paper towels. They leave invisible paper fibers that bond right back to the film you just removed. Step 8. For any car older than 5 years, repeat the entire process 2 or 3 times in a row. The film on older vehicles is measured in thick stacked layers, not simple surface smudges. Step 9. When you think you are finished, grab a flashlight and sit down in the passenger seat. Shine the beam across the glass at a sharp angle, exactly the way oncoming headlights will hit it tonight. If the glass looks crystal clear under that beam, you are finished. If any haze remains, repeat one more full pass. There is one more test, and it is the one I personally trust more than any flashlight angle. Check breathe hard onto the inside of the glass, the way you would to write your name with your finger. If the fog forms in completely even clean uniform clouds, the film is gone for good and your windshield is clean. If the fog forms in blotches, streaks, or uneven patches, the plasticizer residue is still there and you need another round. Now I have to be completely honest with you about one important thing before you walk away. This fix is not permanent in the sense that outgassing never actually stops inside any car with a plastic dashboard as long as you own a vehicle. With a plastic interior, those chemical vapors will keep rising every single hot day. You will need to repeat this entire process every 3 to 6 months depending on your local climate conditions. In Phoenix or Miami, every 3 months minimum. In Seattle or Portland, maybe twice a year at the very most, but at $2 a treatment and 3 minutes of real work. Nobody anywhere should ever be driving blind at night. Again, this knowledge did not die in some forgotten archive. It was buried deliberately by people who profited from your confusion. Buried in industry reports, buried in trade journals, buried in the quiet notebooks of old detailers who knew the truth. Every share of this video rips one more page out of that burial and hands it back to someone who truly needs it tonight. If this video made a real difference for you, subscribe, share it, and open the vault without waiting. Every single guide inside the complete Forbidden Camping Vault was built the exact same way this one video was built. Real research, real data, real field-tested methods. The industry would rather you never ever find in your lifetime. The link is waiting for you in the description. The next vault opens very soon, sooner than you think. And what is sitting inside of it is heavier than anything you have seen tonight on the screen. Drive safe, see clearly, and never let them sell you a single windshield you do not actually need.